Some mothers give birth to children. Some mothers give birth to their own graves by sacrificing everything for their children. This is the story of one such mother. Maryam was not a strong woman by nature. She became strong because she had no choice. Her husband died when her son, Daniel, was only 6 years old. One morning he went to work, promising to bring sweets in the evening. By nightfall, his body returned instead cold silent, wrapped in white cloth. That night Maryam did not scream. She did not faint. She did not cry loudly. She only sat beside her son, holding him so tightly that her arms ached, whispering again and again, "I am here. I will never leave you." From that day on, Maryam's life ended and Daniel's life became her only reason to breathe. Maryam worked in houses that were not hers, cleaning floors that never stayed clean, washing clothes that never seemed to end. Her hands cracked, her back bent. Her feet swelled, but every coin she earned went into Daniel's small school bag. Many nights, Daniel slept full while Maryam drank only water. When winter came and there was only one sweater, Maryam wrapped it around Daniel and said with a smile, "I don't feel cold." But at night, she trembled silently. When Daniel asked why she never bought new clothes for herself, she laughed softly. Mothers don't need much. But the truth was she needed nothing except her son's happiness. Maryam believed something with absolute faith. "My son will never forget me," she told neighbors proudly. "Daniel will grow up and take care of me. He has a soft heart." And Daniel was a soft-hearted child. He wiped his mother's tears when she thought he was asleep. He kissed her cracked hands before school. He promised her one day, "Ammi, when I grow up, I will buy you a big house. You won't work anymore." Maryam cried that day not from pain, but from hope. Years passed. Daniel grew into a bright young man. His education built on Maryam's blood and sweat opened doors for him. A good job, a respected position, a new world Maryam had never seen. And with that new world, came a new voice in Daniel's life. Her name was Sophia. She was beautiful, confident, and sharp with her words. She admired Daniel's success but not the woman behind it. At first, Maryam tried to welcome her with love. She cooked her best meals. She offered her room. She spoke gently. But Sophia's smiles were cold. Her eyes judged everything. The small house, the old furniture, the mother who spoke too softly. After the marriage, things changed quietly like a slow poison. Sophia did not shout. She did not fight. She only whispered into Daniel's ears at night, "Your mother interferes too much. Why does she need to know everything? We need privacy." Daniel listened, not because he stopped loving his mother, but because he did not want to upset his wife. Maryam noticed the change. Daniel stopped sitting with her, stopped asking about her health, stopped eating the food she cooked. And one day, when Maryam asked gently, "Beta, are you angry with me?" Daniel replied, distracted, "Ammi, please don't overthink." But a mother's heart never it only feels. Maryam began to cry alone, in the kitchen, on the prayer mat, late at night when everyone slept. She prayed not for herself but for Daniel's happiness. "Oh God, keep my son safe, even if I am forgotten." Sometimes she stood outside Daniel's room, listening to his laughter with his wife, and her heart shattered into pieces. She whispered to herself, "This is life. Sons grow up." But deep inside, a fear lived. What if he grows away from me? One evening, Maryam fell ill. Her chest hurt. Her breath became heavy. She called Daniel softly, "Beta, I am not feeling well." Daniel looked worried for a moment, but Sophia spoke first. "She is always complaining. Let her rest. We have plans tonight." Daniel hesitated. Then he said words Maryam would never forget. "Ammi, take some medicine. We'll talk later." They left. Maryam sat alone on the bed, clutching her chest, tears rolling down her face. That night, for the first time in her life, Maryam whispered through her tears, "Did my son just choose someone else over me?" A mother never asks her son to choose. She only hopes she is not the one he leaves behind. Maryam woke up before dawn, as she always had, but something felt different. The house was the same, the walls, the furniture, the silence, yet her heart felt uninvited. She prepared breakfast quietly, placing Daniel's favorite food on the table. He passed by without noticing. Sophia glanced once and said coldly, "We're not eating at home today." Daniel nodded. No explanation, no thank you, no glance at his mother. Maryam slowly picked up the untouched plate. Her hands trembling not from age, but from hurt days turned into weeks. Maryam spoke less. She walked slower. She waited more. One afternoon, she gathered courage and said softly, "Beta, you don't sit with me anymore." Daniel sighed, frustration in his voice. Amy, you're being sensitive. Things change after marriage. Sensitive. That one word cut deeper than any insult. A mother who had swallowed hunger, pain, loneliness, was now too sensitive. Sophia never shouted. She smiled while she separated. Daniel, your mother needs to understand boundaries. She depends too much on you. We are a family now. Daniel believed her. Slowly, he began seeing his mother through his wife's eyes, not as a woman who sacrificed everything, but as a responsibility. He stopped sharing his problems with Mar, stopped asking her advice, stopped caring if she felt lonely. Mariam's health worsened. Her cough deepened. Her hands shook. Her nights became sleepless, but she hid it. Because every time she spoke, Sophia rolled her eyes, and Daniel looked uncomfortable. So Mariam learned something painful. A quiet mother is easier to ignore. One day, Daniel announced, Amy, we're moving to a new apartment. It's closer to work. Mariam smiled weakly. That's good, Beta. Then she asked, barely audible, will I come with you? The silence answered first. Sophia spoke. It's a small place. You'll be more comfortable here. Daniel did not look at his mother, he nodded. That moment, Mariam felt something die inside her, not her body, her place in her son's life. The house grew emptier, no laughter, no conversations, only memories echoing off the walls. Mariam sat on the floor, holding Daniel's childhood shoes, whispering, I carried you in my arms. How did I become too heavy to carry? Her tears soaked the floor where she once knelt to pray for him. One night, Mariam collapsed. Pain shot through her chest. Her vision blurred. She called Daniel again, not loudly, not desperately. Just once. Beta, the phone rang, then disconnected. He did not hear her, or maybe, he chose not to. Mariam lay on the floor, staring at the ceiling. Tears sliding into her ears. She whispered, I raised you to be strong, not to forget me. A mother had been pushed out of her son's home, and almost out of his heart. But fate was watching, and soon, it would ask Daniel a question that no wife could answer for him. Sometimes a mother does not need medicine. She only needs her child to sit beside her. But that day, even that was too much to ask. The pain returned stronger than before. Mariam clutched her chest as her breath became shallow. Her legs could no longer support her. She fell near the doorway, the cold floor pressing against her weak body. There was no one to help. Neighbors heard a faint noise and rushed in. An ambulance was called. Mariam was taken away alone. As the vehicle moved, she whispered one name again and again, Daniel, Beta, but the road did not answer. White walls, beeping machines, a narrow bed. Mariam opened her eyes to a room that smelled of medicine and loneliness. A nurse asked gently, Is there anyone we should call? Mariam hesitated. She gave Daniel's number. Because no matter how hurt she was, he was still her son. Daniel's phone rang during dinner. He looked at the screen. Amy, Sophia glanced at it and said casually, It's always something, we just sat down. Daniel hesitated. Then he turned the phone face down. I'll call later. Later never came. Mariam stared at the door. Every footstep made her heart race. Every sound felt like hope. She imagined Daniel walking in, worried, calling her Amy the way he used to. Hours passed, no son, only nurses, changing IV, only silence answering her prayers. A doctor spoke quietly to a nurse. Her condition is serious. Does she have family? Mariam heard it. Her eyes filled with tears. She answered before the nurse could. I have a son. But her voice trembled, because even she was no longer sure. That night, pain was not the worst thing. Loneliness was. Mariam turned her face toward the wall and whispered, Oh God, I gave him my youth. I gave him my strength. I even gave him my silence. Was it still not enough? Tears soaked her pillow, tears Daniel had never seen. The next morning, Daniel finally checked his phone. Missed calls, hospital number, messages from neighbors. Fear hit him. At the hospital, he stood at the door. Hesitant inside, Mariam lay weak, thinner than before. Daniel took a step forward. Amy. Her eyes opened slowly. She looked at him, and then, she looked away. That hurt him more than any words. Daniel sat beside her. Why didn't you call again? He asked. Mariam smiled faintly. I did. Silence filled the room. Then she said something that broke her own heart. I didn't want to disturb you. A mother lay on a hospital bed, not waiting for death, but waiting for love. And a son stood there, realizing too late that listening to the wrong voice can silence the most important one forever. A mother lay on a hospital bed, not waiting for death, but waiting for love. And a son stood there, realizing too late that listening to the wrong voice can silence the most important one forever. Daniel sat beside Mariam's hospital bed, holding her frail hand. It felt lighter than he remembered, as if life itself was slowly slipping away. "Amy, I was busy, that's why I couldn't come sooner," he said softly. Mariam nodded. She did not argue. She did not complain, because a tired heart does not fight anymore. "You have responsibilities now," she replied quietly. "A wife, a life." Each word was gentle, each word carried pain. Sophia entered the room later that day. Her eyes scanned the machines, the bed, the old woman lying there. No tears, no concern. She whispered to Daniel outside the room, "We can't stay long. This place makes me uncomfortable." Daniel looked back at his mother through the glass window. For the first time, he noticed something clearly. His mother was alone when he was standing right there. That night, Mariam asked the doctor a question she had been holding inside. "How much time do I have?" The doctor paused. "Your condition needs care and peace." Mariam smiled sadly. Peace. She had not felt peace in years. The next morning, Mariam asked Daniel to come closer. Her voice was weak, but firm. "Beta, when I leave this hospital, I will not return to the house." Daniel's heart skipped. "What do you mean? That's your home." Mariam shook her head gently. "It used to be." Tears rolled down her face, slow, silent. "I see the way she looks at me. I see how you become quiet. I don't want to be the reason your marriage suffers." Daniel tried to speak. She stopped him with a raised hand. "Let me keep my dignity. Beta, let me leave before I become a burden." Those words shattered him. Because he had allowed her to feel that way, Mariam handed Daniel a small cloth bag. Inside were old savings, neatly folded. "I kept this for you, for difficult times." Daniel's hands shook. "Amy, why are you giving me this?" Mariam smiled through tears. "Because a mother gives, even when she is leaving." Mariam was discharged quietly. No celebration. No welcome. She moved to a small, old women's shelter run by kind strangers. When Daniel dropped her there, she looked around calmly. "This is enough," she said. Daniel stood frozen. "Amy, forgive me." Mariam placed her hand on his head just like childhood. "I forgave you the day you were born." As Daniel drove away, his chest felt heavy. Something precious had slipped out of his life. Not with noise, not with anger, but with a mother's silent sacrifice. The women's shelter was small. Simple beds, soft voices, no judgment. Mariam adjusted quickly. She did not complain. She did not ask for much. Every morning, she sat near the window, watching the sunrise, whispering prayers for Daniel. "Keep him happy, oh God. Even if I am not there." Her health weakened, but her heart stayed gentle when other women asked about her family. She smiled and said, "My son is very busy." Daniel's nights changed. He lay beside Sophia, staring at the ceiling. The house felt bigger and emptier. Sophia talked about furniture, trips, plans. Daniel heard only one voice in his head. "Let me leave before I become a burden." Guilt wrapped around him like a shadow. One evening, Daniel's phone rang. Unknown number. "This is the shelter," a calm voice said. "Your mother. She is very weak." Daniel's heart stopped. He drove faster than he ever had before. Mariam lay on the bed, eyes half closed. Daniel rushed to her side, tears falling freely. "Amy, I'm here. Please look at me." Slowly, her eyes opened. She saw him, and she smiled. Not with pain, not with anger, with love. "You came," she whispered. Daniel held her hands, crying like a child. "Forgive me, Amy. I listened to the wrong voice. I forgot who loved me first." Mariam gently wiped his tears with her trembling fingers. "Don't cry, Beta. A mother's heart does not keep accounts." She took a deep breath and said softly, "Remember this. One day, you will be old too. Teach your children how to treat you by how you treated me." Daniel nodded, unable to speak. Mariam closed her eyes peacefully. Her face was calm. She was finally at rest. The room became very quiet. Daniel stayed there long after, holding hands that no longer moved, crying words that would never be heard again. After the funeral, Daniel changed. He spoke less, he listened more. Sophia noticed. "Why are you so different?" she asked. Daniel replied quietly, "Because I lost the only person who loved me without conditions." Months later, Daniel stood alone at his mother's grave. Tears fell onto the earth. "Amy, I understand now." But understanding came too late. He turned away with one promise in his heart. No mother should ever feel unwanted. He listened to his wife, but not to his mother's cries. and when he finally listened, there was only silence left.